You guys are like the happiest, huggingest, lovingest, funnest church that I've ever been to. And I've even got like the guy with the drums giving me rim shots here. All right. So you may not have known this, but I mean, I feel completely at home here in this kind of an arena because I actually did stand-up comedy for 3 years in And that's what I said to Maggie. I said, just tell them please tour clubs and colleges across the country. Very funny man coming to the stage. That's Reverend Kuebler. You guys are great. So I'm honored to be here at the One Spirit today. This is such a gift for me, and truly I want to honor that for you as well by standing here in the theme of today, and that is in humility. Because when Dennis gave me this as my talk title, I must tell you I cringed, because humility is not my thing. I mean, guys, are you with me on that? Yeah. I mean, it is a challenging process to open yourself up to humility, and so I really had to do that in this week to come to a place where I can speak to you authentically, which is really what I choose and strive to do in every talk, and that is speak to you from my heart. Because if you hear it from my head, you go, well, that was a nice talk from his head, and then you tend to forget it because it doesn't impact you. Emerson said that when we hear our own thoughts expressed back to us, that's truly when we are connected to the genius within each and every one of us. And so today I choose to speak to you from that genius. And as I was coming up here, I got to thinking, I said, when did I really learn humility in my life? When did I really come to terms with that in my own life? And it was, I can remember when it was 1980 and I graduated from college, and it was time to get rid of that college beater that I'd driven around in and basically had run into the ground because I really had no money to properly service it. And I bought a brand new Camaro Z28, black with silver racing stripes. Are you guys like totally getting this? This thundering power of machismo on 4 wheels? Which, I don't know, it was just a byproduct of it, but it was a chick magnet too. Oh my God, I was in heaven. And I drive this car, and I really must tell you, I mean, my love life took a total upward trajectory after I got that car. I was so grateful for that. And I drove this car with such pride. I really had such pride in this car, and I'd love to get on the freeway, and I pound on the accelerator, and these little vents on the hood would come up, and it would start sucking more air, and the more air it sucked, the faster it went, and you could actually see the gas gauge doing this as I went, and I was in heaven for a year. And then, lo and behold, there's a statement, and I don't know who said it. I think it was in the Old Testament. It said, "Pride goeth before the fall." But understand, I'm in my early 20s. I don't get that whole concept. And ultimately, things happened in my life. And I had a challenge with my health, and that challenge with my health led to a challenge in my work experience, and that challenge in my work experience led to a challenge in my finances, and that challenge in my finances led to that car having to be let go. And fortunately, at that point in time, my parents were still around, and I said, "Mom and Dad, I had to sell the Camaro." I said, "Oh, we're sorry to hear this, son." And I said, I don't have any wheels. I need to get around. And they said, "Well, you can I just bought your mom a new car, and you can have the spare part. It was basically sitting in the garage. The powder blue Buick Regal. Yeah, that car? It was my mother's car. And I got to drive that. And my love life went in the inverse direction after driving that car. But I did learn that, guess what, out of all of that came to me many, many years later? I'm not my car. I learned humility. I learned that I get to drive a car, and it's not who I am. And I get to be humble in this process of not only driving a car, but living my life. And so I sat and I thought about humility, and I wanted to give you a definition of humility today. Humility is the characteristic of an unpretentious and modest person. Someone who does not think that he or she is better or more important than others. That is a spiritual practice, to think about that as we move forward in our life, not just in the hour that we happen to spend here at the One Spirit, but in every moment, every waking moment of our life. That I am you and you are me. And it is in that understanding that we come to that place where we truly embrace the name of your spiritual community. Is that in that oneness, I know that there's no me and there's no you, so how can there be a better than and a less than? And so the way I tend to practice this aspect of humility is I like to call it the smiling heart. Because we can all put a smile on our faces. And many of us do put a smile on our face, especially when we don't want the world to understand what we're truly feeling inside. We put on that happy face, and we walk around, and guess what the world sees? They see right through our mask, don't they? They know absolutely what's going on inside your heart. So as I open up my heart to be that smiling heart in everyone, in every place, and in every space, I truly come from that place of authentic humility where I and you are one. So I want everybody to say right here and right now, because we want to understand that place from where humility starts. And it starts from our own recognition of us as that sign right there. So I want everybody to say, I am humble.
I am humble.
In my recognition.
In my recognition.
Of who I truly am.
Of who I truly am.
I am humble.
I am humble.
In my recognition.
In my recognition.
Of who I truly am.